So Netflix did a redesign and I hate it. But scrolling through that redesigned Netflix app, I caught a piece of straw that made me want to watch it. Now, listen, I know it was a Tyler Perry movie going in. I know that we all saw the trailers and I thought that this looks like a John Q ripoff. But the bank scene that they showed really made me want to see how do they get to this point? Because if they get there in a way that I like, I might be with this because it looks a little bit different from John Q or Breaking or any of those other ones where someone goes into a bank and takes people hostage or goes into a hospital and takes people hostage and it's all about the family. It's very similar in that structure. But I thought from just the clip of the bank scene, Taraji was playing it in a way where I thought, hey, maybe this is different. Needless to say, I only got 40 minutes in before I shut it down. And I'm going to go into what makes this movie bad. I'm going to just talk about the points. I actually have them written here. I'm going to hold up the iPad and read them to you. It's such bad writing, y'all. It's too much heavy-handed stuff from Tyler Perry. And then there are also the normal problems that come along that I find with his films, just like really, really poor production. And it feels as though they're cutting corners to just make this thing as cheap as possible and throw it out there and everybody's supposed to love it. And I never felt that. The bank scene made me want to watch it. And I wanted to go through and chronicle what happened to take us to that bank scene. So first thing that happens after waking up in the apartment, giving the kid a bath, she goes outside. The landlord is out here treating her like trash. That's number one. Number two, also on the list, very early in the beginning, she has a adorable kid, loving relationship with her kid, but her kid is crucially sick. Another bad thing to happen to your main character. 3, she drops the kid to school and the principal is giving her looks. That's enough to make anybody feel some type of way, but that's the third thing that's occurring to the main character that could make you feel some type of way. And she's just dropping off the kid at school. 4, she gets to work and her boss is treating her like trash. Now it's 2025. I don't know what employer thinks that he can speak to an employee like that, but in no world that we live in could a boss talk to an employee like that and think that it's just gonna work out, like they just gonna go to work like normal. Horrible, extreme, heavy-handed situation here with this character, and that's 4 on the list if I'm counting right. 5 on that list. Let's talk about the store. The store must be the only store available in a 50-mile radius because you got the whole hood in the store and they acting the whole hood in the store and the customers is treating her like trash. That's number 5, and that's crazy that 5 crucial things have happened and it's not even probably 9 o'clock in this world that the movie takes place. Number 6, she gets a call from the school. She has to go up there to the school, but before going to school, she stops at the bank. 6 is the bank can't help her. Now that's a small thing, but it's the 6th thing on the list of things that happens to your main character. Again, we are really heavy-handed with she's having a bad day. Number 7, she leaves the bank and goes to school, and CPS is at the school and they're taking your child from you at school, which is crazy. I've never heard of. I've been a teacher for 15, 16 years now. I've never heard of Child Protective Services taking custody away from the parent while the child is at school during a school day. Now, they may have a hearing. They may sit down and talk with you about some things and do an interview, but take your child from you at school. Wild stuff. Don't know where that happens, but it's like the 7th thing that would push a normal person over the edge. Number 8, and I'm almost at the point where I want to laugh, but I'm not there yet. But number 8, we get to her leaving the school to go back to work, and she gets into a fit of road rage. Road rage is very realistic. It happens, but it's the 8th crucial thing to happen to your character. And not only is it road rage, but it is a dirty, scummy police officer who intentionally hits her in broad daylight. On top of that, he comes back and threatens to use a legal way to shoot her in the head. Super heavy-handed. What are we doing? Number 9, it's the same in that same interaction. Not only does the police hit you and then they verbally assault you and threaten your life, but number 9 is you get a ticket from another officer and your car gets impounded. Now we really get to the areas of ridiculousness after 9 because her car's gone now. We go to 10. She walks from the car incident to her job, soaking wet, and gets fired. Again, the boss is talking crazy, reckless, and like he thinks that's just gonna go fine. In what world does a person open their mouth to speak to somebody else and think this is totally fine to talk to somebody after the day that they've had, apart from her private life that everyone doesn't know? Like, as the boss, you saw the customers treating her like trash. As the boss, you treated her like trash. Now you're treating her like trash again and firing her, and she's soaking wet, so obviously something happened to her car. It's like, I can't see a world where all this is happening to one person, and I don't think it's lunchtime yet. 11, she walks from her job to her apartment in the rain, and she gets to the apartment and all her stuff is on the lawn, and the landlord, excuse the cursing, the landlord is still up there talking shit, man. And listen, at this point, this was the point where I bust out laughing while watching it. But Taraji P. Henson is looking up and she's, why? It's like, are you serious? Like, you really directed her to do that in that moment? And Taraji, you really did it in that moment. And like, y'all saw on the little screen, the little dailies that they do, you look at the shots that you took today, and you saw that shot and you was like, yeah, that's the one. We're gonna keep that one and we're gonna roll. And it's like, that looked comically bad. I laughed out loud. It was horrible. But we're not done with the list of bad things that could happen before you snap. We get to number 12. She goes back to the office. The boss is still talking crazy. And then the robbery happens and things really start to spiral out of control, where she grabs the gun, shoots the guy. The boss leaps to conclusions that, oh, you had to be involved. It's like, who is this guy? And then you get to the bank robbery stuff. But even before the bank robbery stuff, you get all the police investigation stuff that I don't even really want to cover, because there's a lot that you can nitpick in there if you want, but it's a police investigation. Is going very middling in my opinion. 13 is when we get to the scene that I saw that made me want to start and see how we got to a bank robbery, where she pulls the gun out in the bank and just saying, hey, cash this check. And it's like 13 different instances of pretty much day-shattering, earth-shattering situations, things that would make a normal, well-trained, well-mannered, well-behaved individual lose it to a certain extent. 13 different instances. And this is, I think, before lunch. If she's coherent, if Taraji's character is coherent at the time, it's still before lunchtime and she's still thinking about getting the $40 to the kid at school. You had the worst day of days in like 4 hours. Ridiculous. And not just the fact that all those things happened to one character, but the fact that, let's go back to the fact that she lost her vehicle and you're walking from your job to the bank to the apartment. You're doing all this walking and the day's just not passing. Like, what's going on? And that leads me to talk about all the other little flubs and just mistakes that I feel like some of these Tyler Perry productions make. Let's talk about things that just spawn out of nowhere. Like in the bank, when the bank robbery is taking place, the TV in the bank is a big deal for me, because I had to watch the scene, then I rewound it to a certain point, and I made sure I placed that TV in my mind. And when you look at the TV, that TV says Benevolent Bank on it, and that's it. And then magically, like, no one pressed the remote or anything like that. The TV just came on Channel 5 News. There's a reporter outside. There's a crew outside. There's people outside. But a few scenes earlier, when a bystander and a security guard ran out of the building, the parking lot was empty. Totally empty. It was just police there to greet those hostages and security guards. That's it. Now all of a sudden we got a crowd that are here, we got a camera crew and a news van, and they're all just on the scene. And not only that, but this reporter knows every detail of an ongoing police investigation. Someone got shot earlier this morning, and now she knows where this happened. She knows the name of the assailant. She knows all kinds of information. like in the moment. It's crazy. And at that point is when I decided I can't do it no more. My wife, who is not a critical movie watcher, she does not look for and notice all these things. She don't know who directs and who writes. None of that matters to her. If I put something on, she'll just watch it. If it's animated, nah, she's probably not gonna watch it. But if it's live action and real people, she'll look at it. And she said, hey, this is too much. Probably about number 8 on this list. My wife said, man, they got too much happening to one person. Turn it off, is what she said. Turn it off, is what she said. And right around that 40-minute mark is when I had to comply. I don't need to see any more from Tyler and what he's doing with Taraji here. I don't care what people may say about it and how good it may be and what parts of this or that it might speak to and the community and Black people, and it don't matter. None of that matters. What matters is I gave this thing a fair shake. I saw a piece that was intriguing and I thought, let's see what it's about. Let's see how we get to that part. And we got there in the most ridiculous fashion ever. Now, I did do a lot of critiquing, but I will also say, as a point of constructive criticism, or like, what would you do different? People love saying that in comment sections. What would you do different? I would do this different. I would make it more about the psychological side of Taraji P. Henson's character, more than her bad day. You can take those 13 or 12 different instances of things that happen, you can cut half of that and you could give me backstory on a character that has gone through trauma. You can flash back to other instances of verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. You can use those things as triggers as to why this person is enduring what they're enduring or why they're reacting like they're reacting to this situation. You can even speak to the good nature of Taraji P. Henson's character, and that would even help like set up the idea that, hey, she's finally had enough. You can show her getting walked on or stepped on and mistreated in the past. You can use like really little 30-second clips and just show like, oh, somebody used to take advantage of her in this relationship. Oh, this instance, the teachers were talking to her crazy at the schoolhouse. Oh, the doctors was undermining her care for her daughter. Like, you can do those things and build more into the character instead of piling on different events. So many events that wouldn't all happen to one person. The parallel that I'll make to it in my mind is like Forrest Gump. And like Forrest Gump's life, when you look at it, like all of that stuff can't happen to one person. That's how I felt about that movie. Love that movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. But no one person's going through all this. That's how I felt watching 40 minutes of this movie. Like, there's no way one person endures all this and doesn't punch someone in the face or curse someone out hours before she gets to the bank scene. Like, and if you want to have that character, you can make that character be that, but you gotta build that character to be that. And we didn't get that. We just got bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. Oh, it's the last straw. She's had enough. Nonsense. Build your characters better. Take your time. Scaffold this thing out. And when you see what you're getting, like, don't be afraid to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, we got a framework here, but we can make it better. I don't feel like he does that. And I don't feel like anyone demands that of him. And so we end up getting what we get most of the time from old Tyler. But those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you choose to do so. And that's all I got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.